Hi, today I will be reviewing The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. The Assassin's Blade is a collection of 5 short stories written by Sarah J Maas as a prequel to her first book, The Throne of Glass. They were initially released as an ebook, but they were bound together earlier this year in this gorgeous book. I think this design is beautiful and it matches the rest of the series, which I'm really grateful for. If you don't know, Throne of Glass and The Assassin's Blade are from a fantasy series which follows a female assassin called Selena. Each of the short stories in this book all follow on really nicely, so I really appreciated that because it flowed just like a normal book. And in my opinion, you should read this first before Throne of Glass because it just feels like the first book in the series, in my opinion. You can see the separations in each story, but they flow together really nicely. I know when I was looking at starting this series, I was really unsure if I should read The Assassin's Blade first or Throne of Glass, because sometimes prequels can spoil things, but I personally think reading Throne of Glass first would spoil this book. The first story in the collection is called The Assassin and the Pirate Lord. This story shows Selena and a fellow assassin called Sam travelling to an island called Skulls Bay, where a pirate lord is based, and their sort of leader, Arabin, is sent them there to do a deal with the pirate lord. However, when Selena finds out the details of the deal, she isn't exactly best pleased, and being an assassin, you can guess some stuff goes down. I really enjoyed this story. However, it was probably my least favourite out of all the stories just because it was introducing all the characters. It was slightly boring in places. I didn't feel like it needed to be as long as it was. It's kind of 100 pages. So I gave the first story 3.5 stars. I still really enjoyed it, but if you don't like the first story in the collection, I'd definitely say keep reading. Because the next story is called The Assassin and the Healer. And this second story was actually added in with this publication. It wasn't one of the original ebooks. I think it's such a valuable addition because even though it's really short, it documents a character called Yvette who is working in a pub until she can pursue her dreams, and you learn a lot in this story about the magic of the land, which I really liked. It really helps to develop the world because she was training to be a healer, but then magic was outlawed. And I love magic. I thought that was such a great addition to sort of introduce that part of the world into this collection. And while she's working in this pub, Selena is there, so a little bit of stuff happens. And I just think it was a really nice following story that links the first and third stories. I think Yvette was a really developed character, and although she didn't appear in Throne of Glass, I have a feeling she might appear in one of the later books because she had such a great backstory and she was such a great character, and I really hope she comes back, and I gave this story 4 stars. And the third story is called The Assassin and the Desert, and this offers the collection a complete change of setting. She travels across the continent to visit the Mute Master, who is in charge of another assassin guild. I really enjoyed this story because I feel like it develops Selena's character a lot more. In the initial story, she's beautiful and rich and renowned, so she acts like a bit of a spoilt brat, and I think this is a bit of a culture shock for her in this third story, and I think you see her more emotional and sensitive side, which I thought was really great. So I gave this third story 5 stars. And the fourth story is called The Assassin in the Underworld, and that sees Selena return to her city where she is, you know, the most feared assassin. And I can't really tell you much about the later stories because, as I said, they all follow on, so I don't want to spoil any of the earlier ones for you. But it was great to see Selena, you know, in her prime doing what she's trained to do, and I gave this story 4 stars. And then the final story is The Assassin and the Empire. Oh my god, this was definitely my favourite story because Sam Courtland is such an amazing character. He is the assassin who goes with Selena to the Pirate Bay in the first story, and in this last story you see his character develop so much, and I love Sam so much. He's definitely one of my favourite fictional characters, and oh my god, I can't really say much about this story, but the two of them are hired to kill basically a thief lord and his second in command, and stuff goes down, and this last story leads you into how Selena ends up in the position that she is in Throne of Glass. So yeah, purely just for Sam Courtland, I think you should read this book. Overall, I give the collection 5 stars. I thought it was amazing. It should definitely be the first book in the series in my opinion, so I would read this first, but I read Throne of Glass straight afterwards because at the end of the book I just had so many feels and I was like, oh my god, I need to read on with this series. And I will be uploading a Throne of Glass review really soon, so if you're interested, keep an eye out for that. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you've read this book or maybe want to read it, leave a comment down below and we can have a chat, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!